Here's your wrestling news for August 1st, 2022, and we're kicking off with SummerSlam. As in the main event, contested under last man standing rules for Roman Reigns' undisputed WWE Universal Championship, we saw everything from wild brawling to Lesnar using a tractor to raise half of the ring off the ground. In the end, Reigns, with the help of the Usos and Paul Heyman, was able to once again defeat Lesnar to remain undisputed champion. Reigns and Lesnar also had to fight off an attempt by Theory to cash in that Money in the Bank contract halfway through the match, adding one more layer of chaos to the proceedings. The sight of Brock Lesnar lifting the ring with a tractor at WWE SummerSlam will live on in the minds of wrestling fans for years, possibly decades to come. But there was a post-match moment that viewers watching on Peacock and the WWE Network did not get a glimpse of, but over 48,000 fans at Nissan Stadium paid witness to. As seen here, Lesnar crawled back into the elevated ring, and upon walking to the turnbuckle, he put on his cowboy hat and did a hat tip to thank the lively Nashville crowd. Lesnar's thank you gesture got many fans wondering if he's taking time off from the company or retiring altogether from in-ring competition. There was also a feeling on social media that Vince McMahon's retirement could lead to the Beast following suit and retiring himself. Lesnar has previously referred to McMahon as a father figure and a person he has learned a lot from. Turns out Lesnar won't be retiring anytime soon, as Atlanta's State Farm Arena is advertising Lesnar as the marquee name for the January 1st, 2023 Premium Live event. The inaugural Day 1 event earlier this year was originally supposed to be headlined by Lesnar vs. Roman Reigns until the Tribal Chief was diagnosed with COVID-19. In a last-minute change, WWE would add Lesnar to a fatal four-way WWE title match pitting then-champion Big E against Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. Lesnar ended up winning this five-way match to capture the WWE Championship, which he eventually lost to Reigns in a title unification match at WrestleMania 38. As of this writing, Lesnar is not being advertised for next month's Clash of the Castle Premium Live event in Wales. Typically, Lesnar is known to work WWE's big stadium shows, so he could be added to the card for the event at Principality Stadium in Cardiff. WWE also has an upcoming show in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel, on November 5th, and if history is anything to go by, Lesnar will be in Riyadh for the event. Crown Jewel will be the 8th event that WWE will hold in Saudi Arabia as part of its 10-year partnership with the country. Lesnar has worked all 7 of the previous WWE in Saudi Arabia events, although he didn't wrestle at Super Showdown 2019 and only teased cashing in his Money in the Bank contract against then Universal Champion Seth Rollins. SummerSlam 2022 was a night to remember for the WWE Universe, with a finale that will go down in the history books as one of the most awe-inspiring spectacles WWE has delivered. Brock Lesnar may have lost the last man standing match against undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, but the Beast and his tractor created a moment that will live on forever when they lifted one corner of the ring high up into the air, causing the Tribal Chief to tumble out the other side. Fans may be interested in some of the details behind the scenes during WWE's first premium live event and stadium show without Vince McMahon in any positions of power. According to PW Insider, one of the most notable changes was that the office typically designated to Vince is now labeled as the CEO office. As we've noticed, Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan have become co-CEOs in wake of Vince's exit and look to be sharing an office to contribute to their new roles in the company. Similarly, a second office backstage featuring signage for Paul Levesque, Triple H, signifying that all signage featuring Vince McMahon is nowhere to be found. The report adds that Kevin Dunn was indeed at SummerSlam in his regular role as lead producer for the show. He did not serve as a director during the show and is not the person who typically is. When commercial breaks were being seen on television, people in attendance saw video packages for major WWE stars that weren't booked at SummerSlam. One for Kevin Owens was played early on in the show, followed by a video package for Charlotte Flair, possibly symbolizing a return on the horizon. Jerry Jarrett and Karen Jarrett were in attendance at the show to support WWE Hall of Famer and the special guest referee for the Usos vs. the Street Profits for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles, Jeff Jarrett. There was no sign of Ric or Charlotte Flair during the event, but several Tennessee Titans football team members were in attendance at the show. Last night's WWE SummerSlam from Nashville opened up with Bianca Belair taking on Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, an excellent back-and-forth matchup that the EST would emerge victorious from, and putting a fitting end to her story with the man. At one point, Lynch banged up her shoulder after taking a jaded glam slam from Belair, as Lynch's arm was noticeably weak for the remainder of the contest. It is not known whether the former women's champion will miss any time due to the injury, as she was able to finish the matchup. One photo of Lynch walking with the WWE medical staff has surfaced and shows her throwing a thumbs up while her hurt arm rests to the side. Let's hope nothing serious happened. Moving on, Paige is the latest to the growing roster of wrestlers who believe Triple H taking over as WWE Head of Talent Relations will signal the imminent return of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Speaking to reporters on Sunday's Starrcast 5 media scrum, Paige was asked to elaborate on Banks' role in the women's wrestling revolution, leading her to cite Banks and Naomi's strike from WWE. Of course she's a big part of it. I mean, everyone loves Sasha Banks, right? So the four Amazons in general are such a big and crucial part of the women's revolution. So I think she will be back to WWE. I'm thinking with Hunter now being in charge, and kind of like taking the reins and stuff. Only SummerSlam showed in general how much WWE has changed overnight. I mean, I don't think anyone has really been 100% satisfied with the pay-per-view in a long time, and people are walking away from SummerSlam feeling like, holy this is a turning point. So I feel like, eventually that Sasha and Naomi will be back, in my opinion. As reported last week, WWE is trying to reconcile with Banks and Naomi over a possible comeback with the company. Both women were reportedly near the expiry of their contracts prior to their strike on May 16th. While Naomi negotiated a new deal shortly before her departure, Banks' contract will expire sometime later this year, former WWE writer Kazim Famuyide said. Johnny Gargano's What's Next panel went down today during the Starrcast 5 event in Nashville. The former NXT champion has kept quiet regarding his next moves after departing from WWE back in December. One person from Gargano's NXT past showed up to pay him a rather notable visit. Dexter Lumis made a surprise appearance during the Gargano panel at Starrcast. As seen in this video, Lumis appeared to have the same no-emotion, deadpan vibe as he did in NXT when he feuded with Gargano in his stable The Way last year. Lumis was one of several NXT stars released after WrestleMania and returned to wrestling in July as part of NWA's Always Ready event in Knoxville. Lumis was released at the same time as Dakota Kai, who made her return to WWE last night at SummerSlam. Only time will tell if Triple H is interested in bringing him back. During his latest Twitch stream, Gargano revealed that he's in good enough shape to show back on television. Whether or not Johnny Wrestling will make his anticipated return to wrestling within the next few months remains to be seen. What do you make of Dexter Lumis crashing Johnny Gargano's panel at Starrcast 5? Sound off in the comments below. Dana Warrior has been in the WWE in some capacity throughout the years. While she initially joined the company in 2014 as the brand ambassador, she ended up transitioning to the creative team in 2019. The widow of the late Hall of Famer The Ultimate Warrior seems to have left that role after 3 years. PW Insider reports that she has left her position with the WWE creative team. However, it doesn't mean that this is the end of her professional journey with WWE. Warrior is no longer part of the WWE creative team, having departed that position several months back. Warrior had been working remotely from home prior to her departure and was not on the road for the company. PW Insider also reported that Dana Warrior had switched lanes from the creative side of WWE to the public relations side of things. She is working in the community relations team and still continues to perform outreach campaigns. We're ending today's news with the Nature Boy as Ric Flair finally rode off into the sunset with a victory in his final wrestling match Sunday evening in Nashville, Tennessee. The match ended with the 73-year-old Flair applying his signature figure 4 leg lock on Jeff Jarrett as referee David Miller counted to 3, giving Flair and his son-in-law Andrade El Idolo a win over Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Prior to the finish, Flair's other son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, threw a pair of brass knuckles to Andrade, who proceeded to use the foreign object to strike Jarrett. Flair was clearly exhausted by the end of his first match since 2011, but he was healthy enough by the end to walk out under his own power and do an interview with longtime wrestling broadcaster Tony Schiavone. After the match, Flair was helped out of the ring, and he greeted his family in the front row, as well as pro wrestling luminaries The Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Mick Foley. Flair said, "I had one of my best matches of my career here with Ricky Steamboat. All of my family is here. We made jokes about me being married 5 times, all the kids are here, 1 wife, but all my granddaughters, my friends are here. I swear to God, if I didn't have enough pressure on me tonight, Kid Rock walked into the locker room tonight." The grueling match was nearly 30 minutes long, and while it was clear Flair was not the same man who transcended pro wrestling in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and Andrade, Lethal, and Jarrett did the bulk of the hard-hitting moves, Flair was able to hold his own weight. He landed chops and punches, his donkey kick low blow, and even took a vertical suplex from Lethal, with whom he trained for this match to get ring ready. After the match, confetti flew through the air as Flair celebrated with his family.
Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.